Today, we're going to talk about how to instantly build attraction with women. I'm Limo Oueslati. I'm the founder of Higher Self Circle. I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs, professionals, CEOs to completely transform their dating lives, either attract an abundance of women, get 1, 2, 3 dates a week consistently without wasting time, or having an amazing partner. One of my clients, Gurvinder, he got married a few months ago, or I have another guy also in the Netherlands who got engaged as well recently. So whether you want to have a long term thing or a short term thing, these principles apply anyway because you need to build attraction with women anyways. You need to initiate anyways. You need to escalate things. You need to retain them and know how to play with the dynamics, the social dynamics that are occurring. So, in any case, whether you want a long term thing or short term thing, you need to learn game and you need to be good at it. Otherwise, you're either going to be replaced or your relationship is going to suffer and it's going to just end in a bad way. So you better learn this shit. So now the way to build more attraction with women is usually through either your behaviors or your words. And I've seen so many guys fuck this up. They're in a conversation with a woman and they either talk about too much about themselves, go in full interview mode, like just asking her boring questions, or just let the conversation go stale and be boring and with no emotionality in it, right? And the thing is, that's going to result in the women losing interest, losing attraction, probably not fucking you, and nothing is going to happen. And you're just going to waste time and money. Now, here's a few facts you need to keep in mind. Number one, women respond to emotions. You probably know that by now. They don't really care about factual, logical stuff. Now, they do care to some extent, but what they truly care about is how you make them feel. And logical, factual stuff isn't going to make them feel anything apart from on paper, okay, does this guy have money? Is this guy good looking? Does this guy have a nice job? Like those are logical stuff that they need to figure out. But beyond that, they want the emotions, they want the fun as well. Now, number two, women are solipsistic and they want the world to revolve around them. They don't want to talk about, I mean, they're interested about you too if they like you, but they would rather talk about themselves. Their favorite topic is themselves. And so you have to make it about her mainly, especially if you want to make her attracted, and especially if you're in the beginning stages of building attraction with her, meaning you haven't dated her for a while. But even if you did, still like with people in general like to talk about themselves. So in any case, you always want to, talk to them about them, basically. And so knowing these facts, what should you do? Now, first, you must take her on an emotional roller coaster. Like 95% of women live boring lives. Like they don't want another monotone, politically correct guy who's just going to make their life even more boring. So you have to break the pattern. You have to be polarizing. You have to give them strong emotions, whether negative or positive, by the way. You need a balance of both, but obviously keep it positive. You don't want the girl to be, mad or cry the whole day. You want to keep it positive, but you have to give them emotions. That's the thing. And listen, you can do anything to a woman except bore her. This is something you need to understand. I read this in a book once, and that made me realize a lot of things. Because women want you to make them go through a range of emotions. And whether it's positive or negative, that's fine as long as they're feeling something, right? Now, actually, the negative ones are the ones that will ignite their primal selves, and that's going to make them even more obsessed and invested. Like imagine if you have tension in the couple, there's tears, there's drama, there's jealousy. Well, that's going to make her even more invested, if she feels that way about you. Like let's say she is like suspicious and she thinks you're talking to other girls and there's this whole drama and tension and maybe she's crying now. Well, if she invests all of those thoughts and emotions into you, well, she's going to be even more obsessed and invested. Now, I'm not saying you should make her cry all the time, make up some drama all the time on purpose, but that comes naturally. It's actually the byproduct of you being an attractive guy, which women want to be with. So that's one thing. Now, you want to speak about her. Like as I said, women are very solipsistic. They like it when the world revolves around them. So try to use cold reads to make guesses and assumptions about her. So every single time when I'm with a girl, I'm trying to guess her personality, her zodiac sign, her psychology, her dreams, her ethnicity. Like I'm trying to guess some things about her. Now, obviously, I can ask her things too. There's a balance of, you ask her things, but you also guess things and make observations. So you have to balance saying statements and asking questions. Those are two different things you want to leverage. You also want to qualify her. You want to disqualify her. You want to tease her, challenge her. Now, you see, most guys, they're going to try to get her attention. They're going to give their attention away. They're going to put her on a pedestal, hoping she'll validate them. And there's going to be this ongoing dynamic of they're trying to chase her. She's going to be the one being chased. And they're going to be in this kind of subservient position in the relationship already. You don't want to be that way. Instead, you want to be the one with the power position. You want to be the one being chased. You want to be the one stripping her validation and qualifying or disqualifying her. You want to be the buyer in the relationship, not the seller. You want her to sell herself to you. You want her to, keep qualifying herself to you, right? That's the best dynamic you want to have. An example, when you playfully convey that she might not be up to your standards, that's when you're slightly disqualifying her. So, for example, she's telling you that she's not working out. You can say, I don't know if we're gonna get along if you don't work out. And like you're disqualifying her in that sense. Now, when you tell her how she reminds you of your little sister, you're also teasing her, and that also kind of makes her feel a certain way, right? So I want you to get into the habit of qualifying or disqualifying her somewhere in the conversation. You don't need to overdo it because a lot of guys, when they start learning these techniques and this mindset, they start overdoing it. You want to do it subtly, right? Otherwise, it looks forced. So make her qualify herself to you, and by doing that, you're also giving her the feeling that she's winning you over. And that's a very important feeling she needs to have. Otherwise, she's going to feel a bit of buyer's remorse. She's going to feel like, oh, she gave herself away too quick and you're too easy, right? So that's important. So you want to build rapport, number one, speak about her, make it about her, talk about her dreams, aspirations, goals, personality. Like try to really make the focus on her background, all of that. Then break rapport, qualify her, disqualify her, etc. Strip her validation. Then watch her chase you even more, and then repeat the process. And attraction is amplified that way, right? It's always that way, And throughout the relationship with her, you always have to do this. You never want to make her feel that you are for granted. You want to be fun to be with, but hard to get time with. Okay, let me repeat that again. You want to be fun to be with, you're cool, positive, you give her emotions, you're like fun, but you also want to let her know like your attention is valuable, you're hard to get time with, you're busy, you're on your purpose, you're on your grind, and make her feel like she needs to always have to, and you need to make her feel that she always have to prove herself to you over and over again, right? And that's very, very important. Now, also, one of the mistakes that I see a lot of guys make is either showing her too much interest, so that way she feels like she has conquered you and it's over, there's no more challenge for her, or not showing her enough interest, which is going to make her feel like you're not interested at all. And yeah, so you want a balance of both, basically. You have to keep a balance. You have to learn how to show interest without giving your power away too soon, but also be a bit detached and unpredictable and make her wonder whether you actually like her or not, right? And that's very important. Now, also, what you can do is you can include some fun and playful banter in the conversation when that feels right. So, an example is, let's say you ask her about what she does, or you try to guess what she does, and she says she's an accountant, right? Now, a predictable, neutral response to this would be like, "Oh, okay, that's cool," right? That would be boring, right? If someone tells you what they do, and you say, "Oh, that's cool. Oh, nice," well, that makes the conversation super boring, super predictable. Instead, to make it exciting, you can include some fun in the conversation. You can, for example, disqualify her. You can tell her, "Oh no, don't tell me you're a fucking accountant." Really? Like, isn't that boring? Like going through all the balance sheets and invoices all day and shit. Like, isn't that boring? And that way you make it exciting. Like she has to kind of, you know, qualify herself, why she likes doing it and stuff like that. And also you show her that you give her a bit of emotions. It's not just like, oh, nice, or oh, that's cool. You go a bit deeper, right? Or you can tease her and challenge her about it. Like, really? You're an accountant? Okay, let's see how good you are with numbers. So, what is 777 times 50? Okay, try to answer without a calculator. Don't touch your phone. You got 30 seconds, right? And just by challenging her, like, you know, making her jump through a hoop like that of like trying to guess, some specific calculations or whatever, it makes it more fun. And now it's more likely that she's going to be more attracted to you. You appear more confident. It's funny and it's also unpredictable, right? So I hope you see what I mean by that. Um, Now, hot girls, they love these kind of flirty, challenging responses because other guys don't talk to them like that. They feel excited and they feel like, okay, this guy's a bit different, He has like better comebacks. He's more sharp, right? It's much, much better. And you can only develop those skills, those comebacks, those answers, if you talk with a lot of women because if you're on a date and you're all stressed out and you're walking on eggshells, you're scared of losing her, it's the only date you've had in months, you're not going to speak like that. You're going to walk on eggshells, you're going to speak very safely, you're going to be a bit stressed and in your head, and you're not going to have good comebacks and good, like, challenging answers. However, if it's your 10th date of the month, you don't care, you have a ton of options on your phone. If you want to have a date tomorrow, you can have a date tomorrow. Well, of course, you're going to start speaking like that, like you don't care. And that's, ironically, going to make her care even more. And it's going to make you a lot more attractive. And, you know, it's going to reinforce the cycle of you winning, so that's one thing. And you have to be also comfortable talking about sexual topics. You have to sexualize the conversation along the way, right? Talk about sex, talk about, what kind of things she likes, even like kinky stuff. You can talk about kinky stuff at some point, whether she likes, being tied up, whether she likes, whether she ever had sex in nature or whatever. Like you can talk about things she's ever done with guys, things she likes in the bedroom, her type of guy, etc. Right? You can talk about that shit, but you have to build rapport first and you have to establish some connection first. So there's different things you can do, but you have to keep all these things in mind because that's what's going to make you build attraction in every single conversation. And listen, girls love to chase high value men who know how to do this. Men who know how to flip the script on her. Men who know how to screen her properly. Men who know how to qualify her on their standards. And that's going to truly, make her yearn for your attention even more. If you have these skills of like building attraction, escalating things, demonstrating high value, understanding frame control, all of these things are going to make you 10x more attractive with women. Now, one last thing I want to touch on is the nonverbal aspect, especially eye contact. Eye contact is key. You have to learn how to have this seductive eye contact, this challenging, playful eye contact. Now, I've mastered this shit. I do it even without even thinking about it. But if you're not that type of guy, then you need to maybe, I don't know, practice in front of the mirror or, record yourself on video because that way you can learn how to have better eye contact. Now, I cover also how to do it in my programs. Same for how to, have the right tonality, the right style, the right facial expressions, the right there's so many things like posture is super important too, putting silences in the conversations. I'm not going to go too deep on that here. Maybe in another video I'll go deeper. But these are also key to build attraction. Your nonverbal communication needs to be aligned with your verbal communication. Otherwise, you're just going to appear incongruent. Now, as I said, eye contact is super key. If you always shy away from eye contact, you try to always fill in the silence with meaningless words, whereas you could have built even more tension by just shutting the fuck up, then, obviously that's going to lower her attraction for you, right? So sometimes actually saying less things is better. putting silences and pauses is actually more strategic sometimes. So you have to learn how to play with that as well. Okay, so it's not about talking, talking, talking all the time. It's also about not talking and understanding when not to talk, and putting the tension, etc. Putting silences, having a build up in the conversation, right? That's super super key. So, anyways, if you use what I told you already, you'll be different from 99% of the other guys, and you're gonna stand out. And if you want to get 1 to 3 dates a week consistently using the Limo method, you want to be able to attract, date, and retain high value women anytime you want, anywhere you want, even if you travel, then check out the free training video I've included in the description. Check it out now. And if you want, you can also book a call with our team. We'll go over the full strategy with you on how you can implement that and how you can get there in the fastest amount of time. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, comment. See you soon.